In the previous episode, we saw that all the ants had started attacking the hunters, but just then, Jinwoo's shadow soldiers arrived and saved them. Seeing this, all the hunters were left in shock and started wondering what was happening. However, before they could think any further, a fierce battle broke out. A-rankers, Tank and Iron joined forces and began fighting the ants. They easily overpowered them, leaving Beck in deep thought, wondering where these soldiers had come from. Just as he was lost in thought, Jinwoo suddenly appeared right behind him, shocking him even more. The other hunters were equally stunned and exclaimed, "This is impossible! What is Jinwoo doing here?" Meanwhile, Jinwoo stood tall, ready for battle, leading his entire army. In another scene, we shift our focus to the city, where the live stream of the battle had suddenly stopped. People started speculating about what was happening. At the same time, Jinchul was informing Go that the situation was extremely critical. In response, Go said, "Yes, we need to confirm the status of our hunters as soon as possible. Gather all the information immediately." In the next scene, we are shown the broadcast room, where phones are ringing non-stop as everyone scrambles to get updates on the ongoing battle. The team was desperately trying to restart the live stream, but the director grew increasingly anxious. He said, "We're not receiving any signals. How are we supposed to get the footage?" As he tried to figure out the issue, a chilling thought crossed his mind. Could all the S-rank hunters have been killed? With growing concern, he turned to the cameraman and demanded, "Hurry up! Tell us what's happening over there!" Meanwhile, the cameraman, who somehow never dies, was struggling with his broken camera. The device had completely lost its signal, making it impossible to resume the live stream. But Jinwoo wasn't concerned about fame. Without worrying about publicity, he initiated the battle. He ordered Iron to use his power, and Iron did exactly that, drawing all the ants toward him. As soon as the ants charged in to attack, Jinwoo sent Igris forward. Together, Igris and Iron launched a devastating assault, eliminating the ants in a single strike. At the same time, a few ants attempted to attack the remaining hunters, but Tusk swiftly intercepted them. Beck was once again left stunned. "I just don't get it. What are these shadows?" he muttered. Still confused, Beck turned to Jinwoo and asked, "How did you even make it to this island?" Jinwoo smirked and replied, "If you pay me, I'll tell you," before quickly correcting himself. "I mean, I'll explain later. Right now, let me heal you." Saying this, Jinwoo pulled out a healing potion. However, he suddenly realized that he couldn't make Bayek drink it directly. So he instructed him, "Open your mouth." Without thinking twice, Beck complied, and Jinwoo poured the potion in. Within moments, Beck started to heal, leaving everyone around him in awe. Using this method, Jinwoo continued utilizing his potions, saving the wounded and ensuring that even the weaker hunters survived. After healing everyone's injuries, Jinwoo turned his attention to saving his future wife. He carefully poured the potion into Cha-Hai-in's mouth, but to his shock, it had no effect on her. He quickly realized the reason. Her HP was far too low. The potion simply wasn't working on her. Seeing this, Jinwoo panicked. "This isn't good at all. Cha-Hai-in's aura is getting weaker and weaker. She's so badly injured that even I can't heal her. We need to get her out of here immediately." He turned to his shadows. "I'll clear the path." Beck nodded. "All right." Just as they were about to leave, more ants appeared in their way, blocking their escape route. Clearing the path wouldn't be easy. Meanwhile, Go Gun-hee arrived to check on the situation. He asked about the strike team's condition, but the others responded, "We don't know anything yet. Something is temporarily interrupting the signals. We've been trying to contact the Japanese command as well, but we can't get through. Ever since those blank spots appeared, civilian media hasn't seen anything." Hearing this, Go Gun-hee said, "We need to restore the signal as soon as possible. Also, make sure the medics and retrieval team are ready." Others agreed. Deep down, he wished he could have been on the battlefield, fighting alongside the hunters, but there was nothing he could do from here. Instead, he whispered to himself, "I just hope everyone makes it out alive." Meanwhile, we see Gina trying to turn on the TV, but it was completely broken. "The TV isn't working at all," she muttered in frustration. Because of this, they couldn't watch the news. Thinking for a moment, she said, "I'll just check the news on my phone in my room," and left. In the next scene, we shift our focus to another person. The scene shifts to a man questioning Reiji about the situation. "What exactly is going on?" the man asked. Reiji responded, "It seems Goto is dead." We are then shown a flashback. The moment Goto declared himself the king, the Ant King struck him down in a single attack, decapitating him instantly. Goto's arrogance vanished in an instant. Back in the present, the man asked, "What about the others? Are they still alive?" Reiji sighed. "We're not completely sure yet." "Then hurry up. We can't afford to wait any longer," the man demanded. Reiji simply nodded. "Understood." Then he ended the call. The man clenched his fists and muttered, "So, Goto is dead. What a useless man. What the hell is happening on that island?" The scene shifts back to the battlefield on Jeju Island. Igris, Iron, Tank, and the other shadows continued fighting fiercely against the ants, trying to clear a path. Meanwhile, Jinwoo observed the battle carefully. "Igris and Iron are doing well, but my foot soldiers are at a disadvantage. I need to increase my army's numbers, but with so many people around, I can't use shadow extraction freely." He hesitated for a moment, but then made up his mind. "I have to do it." Jinwoo turned to the hunters and said, "This fight will never end if we continue like this. Stay behind Tusk. My soldiers will hold back the ants, but if any ant comes for you, defend yourselves. In return, I just have one request. Whatever happens next, keep it a secret." With that, he moved towards the fallen ants, preparing to turn them into shadow soldiers. But just then, Jinwoo felt an overwhelming presence. At that moment, the battlefield fell silent. The ants, who had been mindlessly attacking, suddenly stepped aside, clearing the path. And then he appeared. The Ant King had arrived. Baek Yoonho's eyes widened in horror. "It's back! That means Goto lost!" The Ant King took a few steps forward, surveying the battlefield. Then, in a cold, emotionless voice, it spoke. "Out here, I see no king." The Ant King turned its gaze to Jinwoo and asked. The Ant King stared at Jinwoo and asked, "Are you the king of humans?" Hearing this, Jinwoo fell into deep thought. "I can't sense Goto's presence anymore, nor the shadow I had sent to him." Realizing the situation, Jinwoo took a step forward, approaching the Ant King. Everyone watching was left in shock. Jinwoo was standing face to face with the monstrous Ant King without a trace of fear. The Ant King repeated its question, "Are you the king of humans?" Jinwoo smirked. How strange, a mere insect that can talk? The Ant King, however, suddenly sensed an overwhelming aura from Jinwoo. The realization sent a shiver through its body. Then it screamed. A deafening, piercing screech echoed across the battlefield. Jinwoo simply smirked again. "See? You just proved that you really are an insect." The scream was so powerful that the other hunters couldn't even bear it. Many covered their ears, grimacing in pain. But then they noticed something shocking. Jinwoo was standing there, completely unaffected. Meanwhile, a cameraman monitoring the battle suddenly saw his signal return. "We have a signal!" he shouted. Hearing this, the employees rushed to inform the director. The entire team now had a live visual of the island. The director's eyes widened in disbelief. "Finally, we can see what's happening," he turned to his team. "Start the broadcast, now!" One of the staff hesitated. "But sir, if we go live without a delay, we won't be able to stop the broadcast if something happens." The director cut him off. "It doesn't matter, start it." As the live stream went on air, people all over the world began tuning in. TV screens, phones, news stations. Everyone was now watching. And at the center of it all was one man, Sung Jinwoo. The world watched in shock. As people watched Jinwoo live on TV, Gina was left in shock. "How did Jinwoo end up there? He told me he was just going for a walk." Meanwhile, Go also saw Jinwoo's arrival and became incredibly excited. Seeing Go's reaction, Jim Chul asked, "How did Jinwoo even get there?" Go simply replied, "Forget about that. We just need to believe in him." In the next scene, the monstrous ant gathered immense strength and punched Jinwoo straight in the face. A massive shockwave erupted, sending debris flying in every direction. Choi, watching the battle unfold, shouted in disbelief, "Is Jinwoo insane? He's a mage type, so why did he get that close? Looks like he underestimated the ant. And now he's lost." Hearing this, the Ant King sneered. "So, you were weak after all. That means you're not the king either." But as the dust settled, everyone gasped. Jinwoo stood there, completely unscathed. Not only was he unharmed, but he clenched his fist, preparing to strike back. Jinwoo launched a powerful punch, but the Ant King dodged at the last second. The hunters watching were stunned. Wait, is he really a mage type? He doesn't look like one at all. Jinwoo himself was analyzing the situation. This ant, it's surprisingly durable. Does it have an exoskeleton? The Ant King quickly regained its stance and launched another attack. Jinwoo responded immediately, clashing with the monstrous creature in an explosive battle. The sheer intensity of their fight sent shockwaves through the battlefield, leaving destruction in its wake. Watching from a distance, the cameraman trembled. I'm an A-rank hunter, yet I have to stay this far away? The magical energy here is insane. The battle had only just begun. Jinwoo continued his relentless assault on the ant monster, forcing it back with a series of powerful punches. The creature, taken aback, began to panic. Am I really being pushed back? It thought, unable to comprehend the overwhelming force it was facing. Just as the ant monster tried to process what was happening, Jinwoo launched a devastating punch, sending the creature flying across the battlefield. It crashed hard, the impact echoing through the surroundings. Shocked, the monster stared at Jinwoo, finally sensing his overwhelming presence. How can you possibly be human? It muttered in disbelief. Determined to retaliate, the ant monster lunged at Jinwoo, aiming a powerful punch at him. But Jinwoo stood his ground, meeting the attack head-on with his own fist. The collision sent shockwaves through the air, proving that their strength was evenly matched. Without wasting a moment, Jinwoo crouched slightly before delivering a direct punch to the monster's body. However, just as he was about to follow up, the ant monster's tongue shot out unexpectedly, slicing Jinwoo's cheek. He barely had time to react before realizing something was wrong. His body felt sluggish. Looking down, he understood the problem: poison. His body weakened rapidly, and he staggered, barely able to keep himself from collapsing. Seeing this, the ant monster smirked and said, "This is a highly potent poison. You won't be able to move anymore, human. This is your end." With those words, it moved in to finish Jinwoo off. Meanwhile, in another part of the battlefield, a group of surviving hunters was trying to assess the situation. One of them, in utter disbelief, muttered, "An entire team of 10 S-rank hunters was wiped out in a single moment. What kind of joke is this?" Just then, another hunter received a communication. "We managed to establish contact with the remaining hunters," he informed the group. The voice on the other end belonged to Reiji, who relayed his findings. "We've detected an incredibly powerful presence near the island. I believe this is the same magical beast that defeated Goto," the man questioned. "Then how is that thing still alive? And why is it heading back to the nest?" Reiji responded, "I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's injured and trying to return home." One of the hunters from the Joseon team speculated, "We have no idea if the Korean hunters have survived. But if they are still alive, they will have to fight the same monster that killed Goto. There's no way they can handle that ant." Then he smirked and added, "But if we somehow manage to defeat both that monster and the ant, we'll become famous." Determined, he commanded, "Rescue our survivors immediately. We'll regroup with the second strike team and return to the island. This time, we'll take down that force and the ant." Meanwhile, the remaining hunters overheard the plan. A female hunter turned to another and said, "Let's go." At the same time, Minoru spoke up about the Ant King, warning, "That monster is incredibly powerful. We won't stand a chance against it." The female hunter from the Joseon team, now visibly irritated, snapped back, "This is no time to panic." Minoru, still wary, insisted, "But we need to escape from here." Just then, the scene shifted back to Jinwoo. He had grabbed the Ant King's arm, gripping it tightly. Without hesitation, he delivered a crushing punch, sending the Ant King flying across the battlefield. It crashed hard against the wall, leaving everyone watching in sheer disbelief. Wasn't Jinwoo poisoned? "How is he fine?" they exclaimed. It was then revealed that Jinwoo possessed the poison nullification, second-level skill, which had completely removed the poison from his body. Smirking, Jinwoo looked at the Ant King and said, "So, you had a secret weapon after all." His heightened perception skills kicked in, allowing him to sense the ant monster's rising anxiety. Jinwoo thought to himself, "Even I'm feeling anxious." Then, his eyes shifted toward Cha Hai-in, determination filling his gaze. "I need to end this fight quickly to save Cha Hai-in." With that resolve, he rushed forward with incredible speed and delivered a powerful kick straight at the ant monster. Suddenly, the ant monster vanished from sight and reappeared behind Jinwoo. It then spread its wings and took flight, hovering in the air. Observing Jinwoo's resilience, the monster remarked, "Poison doesn't work on you. Neither does brute strength. If that's the case, then I have no choice but to do this." With those words, the ant monster began evolving once again. Its form became even more terrifying, its power surging to an entirely new level. Jinwoo, sensing the shift in power, immediately pulled out his S-rank dagger, the one he had received from the demon monarch. He steadied himself, bracing for the monster's next move. Without warning, the ant monster lunged at him with blinding speed. Jinwoo barely managed to block its attack, struggling to keep up with the sheer ferocity of its strikes. The monster relentlessly assaulted him, attacking with such speed and power that even Jinwoo found it difficult to keep up. However, despite the overwhelming offensive, he continued to counter with equal intensity. As Jinwoo prepared to launch his next attack, the ant monster suddenly activated an ice ability, one that originally belonged to a powerful hunter. It unleashed a massive ice attack, shattering it into countless shards before hurling them toward Jinwoo. The battlefield descended into chaos as the frozen debris crashed around them. But even amidst the destruction, neither side relented. They clashed once more, launching powerful attacks at each other. Watching this, Mosho, who had been observing from afar, was visibly shaken. He muttered in disbelief, "Its speed? It's just like mine. No, it's getting even faster. How is this even possible?" The battle between Jinwoo and the ant monster intensified as both moved at lightning speed, exchanging brutal attacks. The sheer velocity of their combat left even Thomas Andre in shock. "This fight is absolutely insane," he muttered, utterly impressed by the sheer display of power and skill. "Though copyright restrictions prevent me from showing the animations, I highly recommend watching the episode. It truly delivers an incredible battle sequence." As the fight raged on, Jinwoo spotted an opening and unleashed a barrage of rapid attacks on the ant monster. Despite the ferocity of his assault, it wasn't enough to take it down completely. Enraged, the ant monster counterattacked viciously, its claws striking dangerously close to Jinwoo's eyes. But at that very moment, one of Jinwoo's skills evolved into its ultimate form. Without hesitation, he activated the upgraded ability and launched a devastating chain of attacks, slicing the ant monster apart in an instant. The monster, stunned by the sudden onslaught, gasped, How is this possible?" However, before Jinwoo could claim victory, the ant monster regenerated almost immediately. Realizing it was at a disadvantage, it quickly created a thick wall of ice and attempted to flee. Seeing this, Jinwoo shattered the ice barrier in a single blow and pursued the monster at an incredible speed. Panicked, the ant monster flapped its wings frantically, trying to escape from the nest, but Jinwoo wasn't about to let it go. He closed the distance swiftly, determined to end the fight once and for all. Before the ant monster could escape, Jinwoo unleashed his ultimate skill, slashing it multiple times with immense power. As a result, the ant monster crashed to the ground, severely injured. Shocked and in disbelief, the monster muttered, "Who is this human?" Realizing the danger, the ant monster summoned an entire army of ants to attack Jinwoo. However, upon seeing the approaching swarm, Jinwoo immediately summoned his shadow army. The shadow army alone was powerful enough to annihilate all the incoming ants. Meanwhile, Tusk unleashed his firepower, causing a massive explosion that set the entire area ablaze. Witnessing the destruction, the ant monster grew terrified. Desperate to escape, it thought to itself, "I was born to be powerful. I became stronger by devouring others. I was a king, so how did I lose?" Just then, Jinwoo appeared before the monster, making it even more afraid. It panicked and thought, "I must escape if I want to survive." Determined to flee, it quickly began regenerating itself and attempted to run away. However, Jinwoo, using his immense power, struck the monster down once again. The ant monster fell to the ground before him, trembling in fear. Realizing that there was no way out, it desperately tried to escape one last time. The ant monster, now desperate, began pleading and thinking, "I just need to escape somehow." But before it could make a move, Jinwoo appeared right next to it. Without wasting any time, he unleashed his newly upgraded skill and launched a series of relentless attacks. With this final assault, Jinwoo completely defeated the monster, causing him to level up significantly. Witnessing their leader's downfall, the remaining monsters grew terrified and fled the battlefield. Seeing this, the hunters exclaimed in disbelief, "Did we just win?" Jinwoo then rushed toward Cha Hai-in and noticed that her aura had weakened significantly. Time was running out. Cha, barely conscious, said, "We need to get her out of here immediately. A recovery helicopter should be waiting outside." However, Jinwoo shook his head and replied, "She won't survive until then." Saying this, he pulled out the elixir of life, the same potion he had used to heal his mother. Hoping for a miracle, he tried to make Cha drink it, believing it was their last hope. But then, Jinwoo realized with shock that the potion wasn't working on her. His heart sank. Frustrated, he muttered, "Leaving the island isn't an option right now. I can't use potions, nor can I use shadow exchange. Is there really nothing I can do?" Just as despair began to set in, an idea suddenly struck Jinwoo. He knew exactly what needed to be done, and with that, the episode comes to an end.